Every quarter here at CarEdge, we give you an auto market update. My dad, that guy right there, sold cars for 43 years. 4 years ago, I roped him into starting CarEdge. We help folks buy cars every single day. We're going to talk about the summer 2024, what's going to happen in the new and used car markets, and then give you a little update on where APRs are right now. Sound good, Pops?
It does, except I hate that picture.
All right, folks, let's start with the new car market. We're going to give you our rating in just a moment of how good of a market it is to be a new car shopper. Dad, let's start with days supply of inventory. This is the most important thing to understand if you're a consumer in the market to buy a new or used car. The days supply means what?
It means the longer the day supply, the greater the day supply, that means they have more cars than they have customers, and so you should be able to get a better deal. The shorter day supply means they have more customers than they have cars, and it's going to be difficult to work as good a deal on those brands.
Yeah, the days supply is the number of days it would take to sell all available current inventory based on the daily sales rate. So the industry average right now is 72. There's a 72 days supply for new cars in the United States of America. Some brands have a lot more days supply and some brands have a lot lower. We'll dig into those in just a moment. But what's going to happen this summer is we expect generally for days supply of new vehicles to continue to go up. It has gone up significantly over the past couple of months and definitely the past couple of years.
Yes.
Now, Dad, the average listing price for new cars has trended down just a touch. The average transaction price for a new car is $47,240 back in April, the most recent data we have. We expect to see, new car prices come down a little bit. That being said, this day's supply, when you kind of cross-reference it with price, the day's supply is highest amongst most expensive vehicles and lowest, when compared to most affordable vehicles. That's not a good situation for people who are looking for like sub $40,000 vehicles.
Yeah, the manufacturers have still committed most of their production to the higher profit margin, higher equipped vehicles with a higher MSRP, and those that have lower MSRPs. To quote the old saying, they're selling like hotcakes, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so then we have those brands that have a lot of inventory. That would be Infiniti, Chrysler, Volvo, Ram, Dodge, Ford, Lincoln, Buick, Jeep, Audi, and Alfa Romeo. These are the brands that have the most oversupplied inventory, which means you can go negotiate the best deal. These are brands that have also increased their prices significantly. MSRPs for these vehicles have gone up significantly. For example, Ram and Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep, Stellantis, their MSRPs have gone up more than 50% in the past 5 years. That is absurd. The inflation rate is nowhere near that. So that's something to keep in mind. These are the vehicles that are the most, maybe negotiable, have the highest inventory, but they're also really expensive because the manufacturer has jacked up that MSRP.
Even if you get a really good deal, you're still pretty much overpaying because they raised the prices so much over that time period.
Expect for these brands in particular in the summer months to have really aggressive incentives. So expect 5, 10, 15% off of MSRP plus very aggressive APR incentives. We'll talk about loan interest rates in a moment here, but expect these brands to be the ones that are most aggressive with their advertising and their incentives. The brands with the least amount of inventory, that would be Kia, Honda, Subaru, Lexus, and Toyota. These are the brands that have not raised their prices a dramatic amount. Kia would be the only exception here. At Kia, they really have increased their MSRPs significantly. But for the most part, these are affordable or more price attainable options, and they're in significantly shorter supply. Less incentives on these vehicles during the summer months, but still opportunity because they weren't jacked up like crazy on the MSRP.
And truth be told, especially with Kia, I believe it's 5 months in a row that they have experienced sales declines. So even though they have a shorter day supply, they're probably more motivated to sell some of the product they have because sales have been down over the last 5 months.
All right, friendly reminder, there's enough inventory even for those brands that we just described that have low inventory to say no to market adjustments. There are very few exceptions to that rule, maybe the most rare or specialty vehicles, but say no to market adjustments on new cars. We are not during the chip shortage era. You can say no to market adjustments. The brands that we think represent a fair value in today's market, Subaru, Kia, Nissan, Chevrolet, and Mazda. I know we're leaving Toyota off this list, but they are still commanding a pretty nice premium, like right around MSRP on most vehicles, although you should and you can negotiate. These brands, Dad, have enough inventory and some vehicles at really attractive price points that we think they're fair value now and throughout the summer.
Most of these brands that are listed here are brands that have managed to maintain lower price points than many of the other brands. They didn't get nearly as greedy as some of the other brands, and their dealers seem to be more receptive to working fairer deals for their customers than many of the other brands out there.
Absolutely. New car inventories, just a macro for a moment here, continue to grow. They had been as low as 886,000 new vehicles in inventory back in October 2021. We're at around 2.8 million new vehicles in inventory right now, and our expectation is that throughout the summer we'll stay near 2.8 million, maybe get up to 3 million. So the market is significantly more more richly populated
Yes.
with options, which takes some of the power away from the dealers to have all those market adjustments and things like that. This is also leading to increased incentives. So incentives as a percentage of an average transaction price, that's the blue line on the chart, continue to go up as manufacturers have to, go into their checkbook and find ways to increase interest in their product. They are offering more and more incentives, and we expect to continue to see that happen in the summer months.
Do not be surprised if you see more and more interest rate specials, since the Fed has indicated that it could be quite some time before we see any rate reductions from the Fed, which means the manufacturers are going to have to offer specials to get people to be able to afford the monthly payment.
Some of those specials will be APR incentives. As of the time we are filming this in May, 10 vehicles have 0% financing right now. There are many others that have 0.9 and 1.9% financing options. So, folks, stay patient during the summer months. Find those really attractive offers, and it's to your point, Ed, to make sure that the monthly payment makes sense to people and they can actually afford to buy these vehicles. It is a good time to buy a new car. 2024, I think, will go down in history as like the buyer's market. Again, MSRPs are through the roof as a result of, for some brands, I should say, through the roof as a result of the chip shortage and really jacking up prices. But there's inventory, there's dealers making deals, there's incentives. It's a good time to be a new car buyer right now.
Yes, it's not a great time, but it is a much improved time than what it had been for the past 2.5, 3 years. So if you find yourself in the need for a new car, you have much greater buying power today than you did even 6 months ago.
All right, let's talk about used cars, Dad. Let's give an update on the used car market. Prices are down. They're down about 5% so far at the time of filming this video on the retail side in 2024, but they're still really high. The average transaction price for a used car is still north of $25,000 and continues to be unattainable for many people, especially when you factor in interest rates. We are on the other side of tax season. The summer months are typically slower in the used car market than springtime. Springtime is when tax returns galore and people are buying those new to them used cars. We would expect to continue to see used car inventory levels to be pretty tight. There's about a 45 days supply because there were, 12, 15 million new cars not produced during the chip shortage. That will impact used car supply. But generally speaking, the used car market's like a little bit more stagnant. It's like going down a little bit, but not particularly fast. And there's not this huge influx of new used car inventory to kind of accelerate that downward trend.
And in particular, the prices are coming down on EVs. So if you have an interest in an EV, now is a good time in the pre-owned market to purchase an EV because, well, those values have dropped like a rock.
So year over year, wholesale used car prices are down 14%, and we expect to continue to see those trends into the summer months. And to your point, Dad, we have actually seen the average retail asking price for a used EV go from $62,000 to around $30,000, $32,000. So wholesale prices are down 14% for the industry. Wholesale prices for EVs, retail asking prices for used EVs are down significantly more than that. Like hard to wrap your head around how much they have actually gone down. That being said, a lot of people are faced with negative equity. We know,
Yes.
and we expect to continue to see customers that might be interested in buying a new used car going in to trade their vehicle. They will be upside down significantly on their auto loan. Edmunds' latest data has us at over $6,000 in negative equity. That's going to keep a lot of used car buyers out of the market because they're just going to be unable to get approved for a loan, and they're not going to be able to roll over $6, $7, $10, $15, $20,000 in negative equity onto that next car loan.
It's an unfortunate circumstance that happened and occurred because of the pandemic when there was such a shortage. People just overpaid for things, and now those who overpaid have some of the highest negative equity numbers we have ever seen on average in the industry.
So the used car market in general is still very difficult. There's a shortage of quality used cars. There's actually an increase in repoed vehicles coming at the dealer auctions. So that's good in the sense that it's supply, but it's kind of bad in the sense that the quality is low. So we know there are quality issues. It's a difficult market to buy a used car. And maybe the caveat here would be, to your point earlier, Dad, if you're in the market for a used electric vehicle, I guess it's a great time because they have depreciated so much so fast. So put an asterisk on this one. It's a difficult used car market, especially when you factor in it's a 14% average interest rate on a used car loan. But to your point, Dad, pretty good time if you're buying a used EV.
Exactly. If you're in the used EV market, it's a good time. If you're in any other type of vehicle, it is a very poor time.
All right, folks. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the website, CarEdge.com. And I wouldn't leave you hanging. The average interest rate for a new car loan, a little bit above 9%. So yeah, the APRs out there are wild. Thank you, Dad, as always. Appreciate it.